Hello and welcome to Tomi Talks TV, the place to be to build great love relationships. I'd like to start by saying a very big thank you. Thank you for all your likes and your shares and your comments on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. I really appreciate you because you're helping us spread the message further faster. So thank you very much indeed. Now today I'm going to be taking one of your questions and it goes like this. I'm in a godly relationship that is progressing towards marriage. He loves me, but I'm concerned about his laid-back personality. He's too quiet and slow. He's not proactive, even though he's patient, he's hardworking, and he's gifted in service. He loves the Lord and he's teachable, but he's so scared of hurting me, and because of that, I can't do any wrong in his eyes. I'm always right. He doesn't communicate, but just about anything goes. He does not take charge of the relationship, but he always waits for me to initiate important processes, choices, and decisions. I am sincerely not comfortable with this. Although we've started some formal procedures towards marriage, I'm putting things on hold. Should I call the marriage off? Now, your description is a classic example of opposites attracting. So I've got a video which I shot some time ago, which was titled Opposites Attract. And essentially, I was talking about this concept that generally as human beings, we tend to be drawn to people who are different from us in relationships. So usually you will not find two people who are exactly alike being attracted to each other. So usually you're drawn to someone who is rather different from you. But you see, the other side of that is that the strengths that attracted you to them in the first place, the flip side of those strengths are weaknesses that will begin to irritate and annoy you after some time. But you see, I have come to realize that that is how marriage generally was designed to work, because you see, as human beings, we take for granted what we possess, but we crave what we lack. So normally if someone is quiet, they want somebody who is bubbly in their life, who can, add a bit more, color to their lives. Or if someone is rather disorganized, they might be drawn to someone who is, rather organized. You see, and I believe that this is actually God's design to make marriage work better, because you can compensate for each other's strengths or weaknesses, as the case may be. So your strengths could step in and help and balance out his weaknesses. But you see, when you look at this particular situation, look at your relationship right now, you have got three options. The first of them is this: you could leave. Now, normally what I say to people is this: when you choose to get married to someone, you should look at them as they are, not as you wish they would be or as you hope they will be, as they are, and ask yourself, if this person never changes, will I be happy married to them? And if the answer is no, then you really should move on with your life, because you see, it is for you to think that you can change someone into who they are not after you get married is a recipe for disaster, because human beings are notoriously resistant to change. A person might improve in certain areas where they're weak, but they're never going to become somebody completely different. So you need to be honest with yourself and look at this relationship and ask yourself, if he remains like this, can I focus on his strengths, and will I be able to cope with his weaknesses? And if the answer is no, then you simply have to move on with your life. Secondly, you could choose to criticize, and that's a choice that a lot of people make. So they get married to someone who is different from them, but in their minds they're thinking, after I marry them, I'm going to change them, I'm going to improve them, I'm going to, inspire them to be somebody completely different. And when that doesn't happen, they begin to criticize and they begin to nag. You see, nagging is telling someone the truth about their faults over and over and over and over again. You see, and when you do that, a person is not inspired to change. I have discovered that nagging does not make a person who they are not, but it makes it difficult for them to be the best of who they are. So that's the worst decision to make, to get married to someone and then constantly complain about, their weaknesses or their faults. The third option which you have is the option to adapt. And that is what successful couples do. So they look at a person, they assess their strengths, assess their weaknesses, and realize, okay, this person is weak in these areas, but they're strong in these areas. I realize that I have my own weaknesses as well as strengths, and they look at how they can compensate for each other, so that when they come together, they are better together than when they are apart. And that is the most empowering choice that you can make in marriage. So if you're able to adapt to each other, then you bring out the best of each other, and that is how you get the highest and the best out of marriage. So those are the choices that are before you. Either you leave, or you criticize, which I don't recommend, or you adapt. Well, I hope this has helped you, and God will give you the wisdom to make the right decision about this marriage. If this has helped you, then please leave me a message on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or YouTube. And if you've got a question you would like me to answer, then head on over to tommytalks.com/ask, and I'll answer your question next time. See you next time. Bye-bye.